a lot. The problem with the meme coin thing, it is a casino.
Yeah.
What is good is there are periods of time where everybody in the casino makes money, right? Which is unlike casinos because there's trends in financial markets.
No one's taking it out, so it's paper returns.
And then a lot of this stuff goes to zero. We saw that with NFTs last cycle. We've seen it with a whole bunch of tokens, which is where you need to be very careful of latching onto a token and just keeping hold of it because some of these won't survive.
On the day after Donald Trump won the election, BlackRock's Bitcoin exchange-traded fund saw more trades than ever before. Eric P.H. Hunis, an expert on ex-Bloomberg ETFs, wrote on November 6th that the ARES, it was the busiest day ever for the Bitcoin Trust IBIT on November 6th, with deals worth over $4 blown. To give you an idea, that's more trading than stocks like Visa, Netflix, or Berkshire. He also said that the day had been up 10%, making it the second best day since the start. A follow-up post from Balunis IB says that today was one of the best days for Bitcoin ETFs since the crazy start of January. Most of the funds did twice as much as they usually do. There were a lot of signs that Bitcoin would go up in value, and it did. On November 6th, less than 24 hours after Trump was elected as president, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high of $76,500. An unstoried potential to eliminate even more complexity is within the ETF store. Nate J.I.E. says that 6 of the 10 most successful starts in 2024 were Bitcoin ETFs. This makes Bitcoin the most popular ETF this year. Researchers also said that Trump's many crypto-friendly rules.
I think that's right. And so, this is all the conversation we've been having. The secular trend, the opportunity, the skill set, then it's the execution of that thing. Then it's not to fuck it up. And what you've done is not fuck it up.
He invested in
You've
Luna.
got your seed phrases elsewhere, so you've got no single point of failure. You've got it stored privately yourself. You have it in a large, one of the top 2. There's probably 3 that are low risk in terms of the chances that the use gets abandoned in the next 5 years. Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana, they're pretty safe. So everyone should knock their socks off. 80% of their portfolio, do that, and you'll make money. 90% of portfolio. Don't use leverage. Then we're all humans. Give yourself 10% and do the fuck what you want. Most of the time, you'll find out that 10% goes to zero, which is fine. It's a good lesson. You don't care because you've made plenty of money on the rest. But if you are that genius who can find the 1000x meme coin, knock your socks off. A lot. The problem with the meme coin thing, it is a casino.
Yeah.
What is good is there are periods of time where everybody in the casino makes money, right? Which is unlike casinos because there's trends in financial markets.
No one's taking it out, so it's paper returns.
And then a lot of this stuff goes to zero. We saw that with NFTs last cycle. We've seen it with a whole bunch of tokens, which is where you need to be very careful of latching onto a token and just keeping hold of it because some of these won't survive. You're lucky you're in ETH and not in something else, EOS, that was around in 2017, right? It's like you're stuck. So you need to be careful. Speculation does work for periods of time. It's better than actually lottery tickets and generally better than the casino, but only for periods of time. And then you will lose everything. Somebody's going to come into that casino and sweep every table and only 5% of the people are going to be left with money. So just think of it that way. So if you want to have fun, but the people who do it the most are the people who live off adrenaline.
Yeah.
Right? It's the adrenaline junkies. They're usually terminally online. They probably like to gamble in other ways, sports betting. I'm not really that person. So I don't trade. Yes, I own a few meme coins because I enjoy the fun of the culture and seeing that culture develop, but just keep it simple, stupid. Deeper question. I think men feel hugely under pressure to be successful, to provide. There's a societal thing about what a man does and what he should do and how you measure success. That even in sports, it's very competitive to be a man. but it's also somewhat of a lonely pursuit in that respect because men aren't very good at talking about their feelings and their fears and all the bullshit you bring in your head. So some gambling is to do with that desperate need to get ahead. I need to make this work. But then it becomes somewhat of an addiction because of the adrenaline. Dopamine is a very, very powerful drug. And we search for it all day, which is what the internet's all about. It's the behavioral economics. This is what they discovered is you trigger dopamine and you can make all animals do something. Famously Skinner and the rats, but humans and the internet and like buttons and anger and all of these things.
He said it might be good for assets. A lot of asset managers have already asked the government to list ETFs that hold all cryptocurrencies, not just Bitcoin. Examples include Solana, XRP, and Litecoin. On October 25, people who are planning to make a number of crypto-indexed ETFs that will hold different types of tokens are also waiting for approval. When the crypto-indexed ETF filings came out, alchemists saw them as call options in case Trump won the U.S. race for president. But a lot of traders and experts think that the price of Bitcoin will keep going up. Rising now that Trump is about to take office as a Republican who supports crypto, V. Abu Allah, head of research at Copper, told Cointelegraph that Bitcoin could reach a price of $100,000 by January 20, which is the day of Trump's inauguration. The drive against Bitcoin in the U.S. has died with Trump's win.
Don't fuck this up thesis. Buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. One of those three, preferably all three. And that will stop you going to zero.
But it will go up, it could crash 70% or something.
Okay, so that's a conversation about time horizon.
How long should I be prepared to hold it for to make a return?
Well, it depends what return and for what. Remember we talked about, what part of your destiny you're trying to manifest here? Which part of your lifestyle chips are you trying to cash in? So if you're trying to get rich quick, I want to make loads of money by next year, I'd rather you didn't do this. I don't think that is a sensible, intelligent way of living your life. You're going to take too much risk and you're going to be susceptible to lose it all. If you said, hey, Raoul, listen, what I want in 5 years' time to have made a decent return on my money, 3, 4, 5 times my money. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm going to ask you for a price prediction.
No.
You don't do price predictions?
Not anymore. And the reason being is because a lot of people listen to what I say, and therefore they then build a mental model around a price.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is then you create a false comfort in what you're doing, but Raoul says it's going to X. And that stops you doing the work to make yourself test anything. And then you start extrapolating, well, I've put 10 grand in, and if Raoul's right, I'm going to have $1 million. Like the whole thing becomes this emotional journey.
Mm.
And so I've tried to stop doing it because the best thing I can say to people is, listen, 2032, 2034, that is not long away, 10 years. This asset class is going to go from 2 trillion to 100 trillion, right? That is a huge return. Now, some of the coins in that space will do a multiple of that. That simple thesis is why I built XPAM, the asset management company, Exponential Age, was just to capture this trend, to let, well, unfortunately, it's only for high net worth investors and institutional investors, but just let them go on that journey, get the hedge funds to take the risk and figure it out and do that. But if people just do that, give me 10 years, just give me 10 years. And if you do it 10 years and you're sensible, you'll be able to take a whole chunk of money out every few years because it's quite cyclical. It moves maybe every 4 years. And so you can take a chunk out, cash it in the lifestyle bank, and keep moving towards that goal.
Dennis Porter, who helped start the Satoshi Action Fund, says that the U.S. will be the world's most pro-Bitcoin country. Porter said in an X post about the election that most people in the cryptocurrency community think Trump should win over Harris, even though Trump has changed his mind about Bitcoin. Crypto exchange founders from the U.S., such as Gemini and Kren, openly backed Trump and gave him millions of dollars to help him win as the only crypto-friendly candidate. Some well-known people who backed Trump's campaign are the founder of Cardano, Mike Daly, the CEO of Big O, the founder of Tron, and the founder of the Bitcoin Foundation, Charlie Scherm. As people became more sure that Trump would win the election, the Bitcoin market did something unprecedented. On November 6th, Bitcoin broke through its all-time highs and briefly touched $75,000. Why did Bitcoin hit a new all-time high last night? Because the first Bitcoin president is now going to the White House.